All right, today I think I got an exciting one for you. I've worked a little bit harder on this one. Your questions are getting more and more detailed. So I spend some time in Excel, spend some time in new retirement. Today, Roth conversions. How do I calculate how much I'm going to do in a particular year? How do I have confidence in that number? We're going to use some real numbers, okay? Not my numbers for me personally, but I'm going to go through an example here. So I'm going to share my screen. This is a screen saving day, sharing day, not saving, sharing day. So you should be looking at new retirement. I'll move my cursor around a lot so you can see where I'm at. This particular person, let's look at 2025. This is new retirement. So if you look over here to the far right, it says 2025. They've got, some part-time work of $12,000 a year and a pension of $12,000 a year. Total income, $24,000. Their expenses are about $50,000, but that's not really important for this exercise. So there you go. So then we can, the most important thing when it comes down to Roth conversions is you're trying to pay taxes in the lowest possible tax bracket you can. So this is the critical chart. This is the go-to chart that I love. I talk about a lot. Net taxable income by federal tax bracket. Okay, we're just looking at federal for right now. So here's 2024 through 2046. So by looking at this chart, you can see exactly what taxable income is coming in every year, every single year, and how much tax you're paying by tax bracket. On the far right, you got the 10%, you got the 15%, 25, 28, 33% tax bracket. This looks like it adjusts for the the Tax Cut and Jobs Act. Tax brackets go away. That's a simple toggle. You can say they do go away or they don't go away, whatever you want to do. But notice this person is not paying much tax at all. And then coming out here when RMDs start, their tax rate goes up to the 25% bracket, up to the 28% bracket, 33% bracket. Is there a better way? Roth conversions is a better way. Let's take some money out here when we may be paying 0% tax, definitely fill up to 10%, definitely fill up to 15%, and then you got options past that. It's important to note if you take out, let's say, let's make numbers easy, say $100,000 and you pay 10% tax on that now, okay, so $10,000 versus letting that grow for the next 20 years, okay, and then take out 10% tax on that total, it has the exact same impact, okay? So whether you're taking 10% of a bigger number or 10% of a smaller number that you allow to grow, it equals the exact same number. So you're trying to manage tax bracket. What you don't want to do is have the opportunity to pay 10% tax on $100,000 now, let that 100,000 grow to 500,000 and then pay 25% tax bracket. That's a big deal. You're paying the exact same tax bracket, 10% in the future, 10% now. You don't need to do Roth conversion. Hopefully that makes sense. Not really the purpose of this video. I'm just trying to go through today the mechanics, okay? So new retirement. There you go. So first, I'm going to take a look at what I do in Excel. This is what I do. This is my engineering mind. I feel better doing it on a worksheet. And then we're going to compare to what new retirement says. So I'm flipping over here to my Excel document. And these are 2023 numbers. This is really the template I used last year. But I changed all the numbers. These are not my numbers. So this person's got a $12,000 a year pension, got some part-time work, $19,000, bringing in some interest. They've got an HSA. They put $8,000 in. Total income for the year of $24,000. Up here, I put $50,000 expense, but it's really not that important. Okay, so here are the married filing jointly. Tax brackets, 10% goes 0 to 22,000, You can see the rest of them. You can Google that and get these numbers. Standard deduction was in 2023 was 27.7. So if you look at this individual, the standard deduction is 27.7. Their income is only 24. Actually, the difference between those two is $3,700. The first, you can do a Roth conversion, take out of your IRA $3,700 and pay no federal tax on it. Zero. That's the best tax bracket. Zero, right? Okay. So I'm looking at, hey, I've heard about Roth conversions. I think I want to fill up at the 10% bracket. So I take this $22,000, which is the top end of the 10% bracket. And then I add in this negative 3,700. So I can first 3,700, I'm not paying anything on. So that means I can do a Roth conversion. I can take 25,700 out of my traditional IRA and put it in my Roth IRA. And I have to pay taxes on $22,000, which is 10%. 10% on that $22,000, which equals $2,200 over here. Okay, to complete this, my state, it's 4.23 here in Indiana. That's $931. The total of those is $3,131. So if I chose to say, I want to fill up the 10% bracket, I'm going to do a $25,700 Roth conversion, take that money and put it in my Roth, and then I got to find a way to pay $3,131 in taxes. So actually how I pay those taxes, subject of another video. That's the taxes due. So we can just continue this down. There's the 12% bracket, 22% bracket, 24% bracket. Okay, so exact same thought process. I'll go through one more. So the 12% tax bracket maxes out at 89,450. 89,450. The reason this number is higher is because I am adding in this 3,700. That's zero tax. So if I want to max out the 12% bracket, I'm going to do a $93,150 Roth conversion. Okay. I have to pay 12% tax on $67,000. Remember, federal taxes are progressive. So I still get the advantage of the zero tax here. If I'm maxing out 12% bracket, I pay the first $3,700 I pay zero on. The next $22,000 I pay 10% on, and the next $67,450 I pay 12% on. Okay, so the total federal tax for the 12% amount is $8,094. There's the state amount. Total sum of state and federal is $10,947. Okay, but if I want to maximize the 12% tax bracket, I'm going to pay a total of $14,000. That's this $10,947 plus this $3,131. That is the 10% bracket. Hopefully that makes sense. It's progressive. Okay, and that just continues down. Okay, so that's how I do it. So I do this Excel spreadsheet. One of the things I want to draw your attention to is say it tells me I want to do a Roth conversion of $93,000 here to maximize the 12% tax bracket. So let's go back 93,000. Remember that number. So let's go back to new retirement. I'm going to go into Roth Explorer and I'm going to say I want to maximize the 12% tax bracket. And this is a little confusing because we're halfway through 2024. So I'm going to take a look at 2025. And so these aren't going to be the exact same standard deductions, but it's a full year. I wanted to capture a full year and see what kind of Roth conversion that new retirement with all the inputs, all the returns you're getting, timing of Social Security, all that stuff. It says to make a $96,000 Roth conversion. My manual process said 93. Okay, so that's a difference of 3,000. Well, that's explained in the additional returns that is shown in new retirement, plus this change in the standard deduction. my point is, I don't need to do the Excel spreadsheet. New retirement tells me exactly what to do. Okay, tells me exactly what to do. I just feel more comfortable doing the Excel spreadsheet at the same time. So, and I know a lot of you folks are like that too. So when you're doing it manually, I'm not saying don't do it manually, but new retirement is a great check to make sure that you're not off by $40,000 or $100,000. Make sure they're pretty close. But take a look at this. It does. Here's the Roth conversions I need to make for the next, what is that, 10, 12, 13 years exactly, based on the progression of the tax brackets. Like I said earlier, you can change whether you want the tax jobs, whatever that act is. If that expires or if it doesn't expire, you can switch the tax brackets around. Simple to do. That's not on this page. No, it's not on this page. So yeah, that's my Excel comparison. You can see new retirement was exactly the same. Now, you got to pick the tax bracket you want to do. You can actually, inside a new retirement, you can decide to do that. Let's see, Roth Conversion Explorer. You can do it by tax bracket, which I like to do. You can just select highest estate value or lowest lifelong tax liability. You can do that as well. Let's see, I'm going to stop sharing here. Stop sharing. All right. So I'm going to have a future video on actually how to do, once you decide, say, I want to do a $90,000 Roth conversion, what are the mechanics of that? Okay, there's two parts of that. One is you have your custodian, say you're with Vanguard, you have to call them and, say you have to set up an account. Let's start with that. Set up an account, a Roth account, very simple to do. Then you can call them and just say, hey, I want to do a Roth conversion. Pretty simple to do. And then you got to pay taxes on that. When do you pay taxes on that? At the end of the year, during the year, all that kind of stuff. There's penalties can be involved. So I'm going to make another video on that in the future. If there's interest, let me know if there's interest in that. But today's video was, how do I calculate the Roth conversion? New retirement does an excellent job of saying what it is in this year, and then shows me the problem as I go out in future years. I'm going to go back and show that again. That is so critical. This chart right here, if I do Roth conversions and then put them into this model, it's going to show that I'm no longer paying into the 28 and 33% tax bracket. And it'll say those Roth conversions saved me $117,000 over my lifetime. I like saving $117,000. So very important to understand Roth conversions. This is how I calculate the amount. Actually doing the Roth conversion is the easiest part. Basically, you can wait for a future video, or you can call your custodian, Vanguard or Fidelity, and just tell them you want to do it, and they'll walk you through it, and it's super simple. And then I'll leave a video on how to pay taxes on that. So hopefully this was straightforward and helpful. It's Joe out.